You know that's right.
Yeah.
Well, just like we promised, as you can see, the man with the hat on at the bottom, we believe is Mr. Darren Byrd down there, just like we promised, man. So we gonna, touch on your life, the things that you do. You know what I'm saying? You make a big impact in the community, especially with the youth. So we want to appreciate you for that. You know what I'm saying? Show some appreciation for that. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah.
without further ado, Mr. Byrd,
Coach Byrd,
Yeah, we in here.
AKA.
We in here. I finally made it. Every time I see Sleepy and I'll be like, hey, when I'm coming on,
we had to wait for the perfect moment, this magic moment. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. If y'all have waited too long, I'd have jumped in at the live like Kanye, grabbed the mic and everything.
It's the perfect time because it's near Father's Day, and you are definitely a father.
Yeah, I'm definitely a father, probably times a couple.
Right.
That is true.
This is a perfect time. So, we want to start off with asking you where you're from and some of your upbringing.
I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Grew up first on Salem Avenue. My grandmother, down Ardmore, 3rd Street, Westwood area, Roosevelt, all of that. Aunt V knows she old Roosevelt Teddy. I grew up at the Lighted Center and the little donut shop around there. Then we moved up right on Salem, like right where AM/PM is, right where Good Samaritan. We had the Baskin Robbins and all that. Sleep too young now. She don't know that, but Aunt V know. Yeah,
She don't remember them good old days.
Yeah, so I grew up. I guess it was Upper Dayton View at that time. Then we moved over to Greenwich Village over Hickorydale area right there, and then up in Trotwood. So I'm really from all over. I can go in all the neighborhoods and all that because I lived in them at some point.
Yeah, I was about to say you was all over Dayton. Question: What's the difference in Dayton now versus the time when you was growing up?
I think it's the village has changed. Like I know, if I got in trouble, if we had somebody like Aunt V and a couple of the older ladies and all that, you was gonna get towed up before you got home. You know what I mean? And then you was gonna get in trouble at home. I think now, people in the neighborhood or people that's in the village, they don't allow anybody to discipline their kids, and they come to their rescue, even in the event when they're wrong.
Right.
Like adults gonna lie on them or whatever. Sleep. We work in the school system. We see it every day. It's no accountability. Back then you had accountability, and you couldn't just terrorize the neighborhood. You just couldn't do that without, go past V's. I'm going like this because I know I can't be like that down there. And I think
we feared authority figures. We feared our parents and those people in the neighborhood. We was like, oh no, they ain't getting ready to get me.
Yeah. And now they
don't care.
Yeah, now they talk a good game. So most adults or young adults really don't want to fool with them or take time. I think they had like that generation gap in between, that crack era and all that stuff, because that crack bought mothers and fathers and young people out of the house in droves. Either they was on it or they was selling it, they was hustling it, they was dying. So it really broke up the family. I don't even really think it's recovered yet.
Yeah.
You always had that good aunt that had that GM job or somewhere like that at Delco or something that could help out. I had an aunt like that. She'd help out when moms wasn't, making ends meet or whatever. You could always go over there. And so I think it's the village, the neighborhood type of thing that's really, really changed around here. Same Dayton to me. I love Dayton. Lived out of town a couple times. I lived in Texas, one of the 3 hottest states: Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my skin color comes from, Aunt V.
You was trying to get your tan on, right?
Yeah, I was your color before I left.
Yeah. I want to say Bobby Long said, Coach, this man literally changed my life when I was younger. So shout out to you. That's proof right there that you've been doing it,
Bobby, he was one of my second guys that I had when I started coaching at Trotwood. I coached when I was younger, like I was still in my 20s, and I was still you know, nightlife and it and coaching and not really knowing what I was doing. But like those guys, they tell me all the time I help them, but they help me too. They help me get out of certain situations and put a lot of stuff down and made me see what, you know, the future had for me. That's my man Bobby Long with the drone. Shark Life, baby.
Yeah, we love Bobby.
Shark Life.
Yeah.
Bobby got to have us out to his new house.
Yeah, Bobby got acres out there.
Come to the man's house. Bobby's house is nice.
Yeah, he got some acres back there.
Yeah,
I'll send it on the drone. Yeah, I just hey Bobby, you listen. Just get old coach a one bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Something on the back end of the property.
Yep. So how was it growing up in such a large family? Because I know you said you had you're one of 11.
Yeah.
So how was that?
It was so it was just three, my older brother and my baby sister with my mom, but then the rest of the family came from my dad. So it seemed like at any given day, you know how it was back then, somebody staying with somebody. So it was always a house full. Either it was your first cousins or your siblings. And that's one thing, you know, with my mom back then, she didn't hold no grudges or nothing against my other brothers by my dad, you know, even though some of them they like stair step. It's like older brother, middle, me. And you know how that was back then.
Yeah.
So I mean, it still goes on, but she never not let us see our brothers and sisters and stuff on my dad's side or whatever. So it was like crazy. It just always seemed like it was a lot of us, which it was. Like any given moment, we go to play basketball, we go skate and go out. You know, we look like a gang, but we was actually all siblings. And Sleep, you know what I mean? It's a lot on your side too. You know, you throw a nickel, it's gonna bounce off a bird, hit a barney, hit a butt. You know, so it's good.
Tiffany know about that too.
It's definitely a lot. Yeah, we got you probably times 4.
Yeah, it's good when it's good, and it's bad when it's bad.
Now, did any of your siblings get caught up in the system or anything like that, or get in trouble?
Yeah, so I barely escaped it. I got a slap on the wrist. 3 of my brothers done some time. One of my oldest brother, he just got home. He been in and out, like, I want to say it seemed like all his life, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. So he go for 3-year stint, 4-year stints or whatever. Older brother, he like 5 years older than me. But my other siblings, no, just those 3 kind of got caught up. Older brother done more time. My younger brother, he done like 3, and my other brother, he done like 3.
So by it being so many of y'all having that camaraderie, did y'all kind of keep each other out of trouble, or
Well, the 4 older ones, I would say, kind of no. Out of the 3 older ones, me being like the 4th, I got a sister in between who passed away, so she was 9 months. But out of the older 3 brothers and then me, they were kind of in it and they were older. So I was just, when they started getting into it, I was still in high school. So I was still going out, pop locking, doing my dances, getting hit with skates and all that from stuff my brothers and them doing just because of the last name. And I was like, I didn't know nothing about what they was doing at night. I'm asleep, going to school. So, they was, creating a lot of mayhem around the city and stuff like that. And the fact that they never went out and you could never really see them unless you came to the house, which was probably not a good thing, but I was always out. I remember I was on the floor dancing and, about 8 or 9 guys, mobbed and everything. It was like, hey. And then all my brothers.
How did that affect you? Now, did that make you want to, all right, now I got to get out here and become this tough guy, you know what I'm saying, and start beating folks up? You're not no small dude.
Right. Well, I'm not going to say I bullied anybody, but I wasn't never really. Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, because I know I look big now, but back then I was like that short guy and, wore them husky jeans. I used to rip that husky off my tag. You know what I'm saying? Husky wasn't in back then. That was just a nice way of saying It's a nice way of saying you big. I know, Sleep. You don't know nothing about it. That's why Aunt B laughing, because she know exactly what them tags mean on there. You had regular, slim, and husky. So you know what I'm saying. So, but I was short, all the way up to probably the 6th, 7th grade, and then like overnight, I shot up past 6'1" or whatever. But I was raised by my mom's older brother and baby brother, and one was a Marine and one played basketball, and I knew how to, defend myself and all that at a very early age. So I never really started nothing, but it wasn't. I could talk myself into, okay, 2 seconds, and I'm just going to fight. And you're going to have to fight me every time you see me,
Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah, don't mess with little bro. You feel me?
My older brothers. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, not only did you come from a large family, you also have a large family.
Yeah, I got 12 boys and 5 girls.
Damn.
Yeah, 12 boys and 5 girls. I know. That's usually the word I get. I'll be damn. I said that's usually the word and the look I get. It's like you
were trying to have your own football and basketball team, right?
I don't know what I was doing. I think I was double that. That double popularity. I could fight. I was an athlete and stuff like that. My brothers and them had money. I ain't had no money, but I looked like I had money because I used to drive their cars and all that kind of stuff. But, kind of with no male figure and stuff around and, seeing, even my uncles and them, I just seen them run women. Like, I never seen them with just one woman. It was like multiple. I never seen my brothers back in the day. They had multiple girlfriends. So I thought that's what you were supposed to do, because when you don't have anybody, you see that marriage and all that type of stuff, you just basically kind of feeling your way through the dark or whatever until you look up and you got these kids and you got to feed them and you got this job and you like, well, where the hell was my mentors at? Where was the people? You know what I mean?
Right.
So telling me why I wasn't listening.
That's the importance of fathers, or even if you're not the biological father, but just, a father figure in children's life. We emphasize so much on a mother, but the father is just as important or more important than the mom.
Yeah.
Because he sets the tone for the whole household.
Yeah, he definitely. I used to tell my kids, I'm not your friend. And I made sure that I wasn't going to repeat. Like my dad lived in the neighborhood or whatever. He really, like I tell this story all the time, love him to death or whatever. But he really didn't fool with like my sister, I guess, because she was the only girl at that time before my other sister came. But he really didn't, we knew him. He was a hustler, had a name. He could play ball back at Roosevelt. He lived in Hometown. Sleep, that's over the railroad by Drew. That's what they call Hometown. That's what they call Hometown.
I know that's man.
Okay, sleep, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You still 24, 25 to me, so I'll be having to make sure I'm throwing out that
old soul, though.
Old soul.
What up, Roger? What up, Darren? What up, Hunt?
Right.
What's up to you, OG?
What up, though, huh? Sleeping around old people, so she probably do know what Hometown is. But coming from that, I was determined. If I had 1 or 50, I was gonna be there. I already kind of put them behind the 8 ball or the deficit, not being in the house with them. But I still made sure, like Aunt B said, that I was present. I was there, for everything. I was working. I had moved to Atlanta with my partner, Kenlo, with Players University and Hustler State. But even though I was making money, like to take care of them, it wasn't the same thing. I could buy them, stuff, but I didn't want nobody raising my kids. They was my responsibility. So I ended up moving back, had a long talk with Kenlo. He kind of said, I knew it. It was just at that time, especially with them boys, at that time, it wasn't a good time to be living somewhere else. So I chose the thing, to come back and, just work whatever jobs and stuff that I could. I always work third shift so I could, help with the kids and stuff in the morning, take them to school and stuff like that. Worked at the clubs, done whatever, like to survive. So I really don't respect no guy with one or two that don't do nothing, you know, still mad at the woman, still mad, you know. Them some of the fights I lost sleep with my kids' mamas. You know, they used to whoop me because I don't fight women or nothing. So I'm maybe about 35-2 with guys, but I'm like 0-15 with the ladies. I done took some beat downs.
Oh, Deborah wants to know, how do you feel seeing your dad but not being your dad?
Say that again.
She said, how did you feel seeing your dad but not being your dad? I guess seeing him and seeing that you wasn't him, like you turned out to be a different, you know what
right.
I'm
saying? That's a good question. Now, like seeing him, I think I kind of buried the hatchet because I was waiting for him one day, and I kind of, you know, men, we always kind of blame the mother or whoever's raised us, always get the short end of the stick sometimes. So probably 11 or 12, I really start blaming her till she just really set me down with some choice words, because you know how black mamas are. They cuss. They cussing is tremendous, and it hurts. You know, you shake. And she just told me, you got to stop standing in the window. Like, if he not coming, your life has to continue on, whether he show up or not. If he show up, that's a plus. If he don't, you know, you're going to be all right. And by that time, I had mentors, Deacon Freeman and stuff at my church, Corinthian Baptist Church, Reverend P. Henderson, that, you know, that was around. She put me in sports because that's also a good way, you know, to get some male mentors and stuff involved. And he was kind of in and out, you know. I guess he felt like he done. But after my kids and was concentrating, it was all love. I really didn't have no, you know, one way or bad way or whatever feel about him. I just know up on his passing, I struggled with contributing more to him financially than he ever gave to me. Now, being honest, that was my only, you know, thing that I kind of struggled with, you know, paying for his homegoing or whatever. But that was just, you know, having a flashback and all the things that I, you know, didn't have, and seeing, you know, the guys I went with, you know, had a dad, had a stepdad, you know, had mentors or whatever. I usually roll with them because my uncle was a truck driver. My other uncle was in Pittsburgh, you know, he played ball, so he wasn't really around when I was younger. But my brother, my older brother, that lived in the house with me, Kevin, just 2 years older, he probably took up on most of the chest ties and all the other stuff. He took it up on himself to, you know, while he was growing as a young man, he made sure that I was doing the right thing. You know, I lost a lot of fights to him.
But that's good. But you had that there to keep you on the right path.
Yeah.
Big sisters and big brothers. Yeah.
They was like, you don't need to be out here. You don't need to be, you know, doing this or whatever. So.
Tina, so what made you want to start, you know, working with the youth?
Well, I was like in the streets by now, you know, had messed up my scholarships, going to college, even though I went to Central State for a year. Mom was like, you got to come home. You got to take care of these kids. And, you know, being in that lifestyle. And I just started praying one day, like, God, you got to find me something to do. Like, I can't be in penitentiary and I can't be in the gravesite, you know. And that time I didn't have that many kids. I had 5, my oldest daughter and my other 4 boys. And I just kept praying, like, I can't, even while I was still hustling and doing whatever, but I was still every day I pray, God, find me do something, even if I was making some type of whatever, like still. And at the old Y up in Jefferson, I went up there to sign my kids up. Like, I knew I had to keep them in activities and stuff like that and increase the village. And the guy came out and was like, we ain't gonna have no team. We don't have no coach. Let somebody want to do it. And when I tell this story, I tell people, I don't remember saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it or nothing. I just remember I had the bag and the whistle and I was lining up kids just from what I was taught playing football all those years. And, you know, the rest is history. I kind of went home, even though I always had a job, sleep. I was the manager at churches. That Friday night chicken back in the day on 3rd, and yeah, that was me with the rolls and all that. Yeah, I kept a job because my mom was like, if you're gonna be out there, don't be no dummy. You know what I mean? You gotta, like she didn't condone it or nothing like that, but mom gonna always say, well, if you do, you might want to do this, that, and the other. So everything that I felt I couldn't afford with my church's check, I had to get rid of it. Even some of the people that was my customers or whatever, that I kind of went back and dropped something in their hands or whatever, had like a spiritual warfare, with the devil and the angel driving home, like, you ain't gonna do nothing. This, trying to talk now. I told them I'm done. And I ain't never done nothing on that side. And that was in 93.
I hear you.
And after that.
Yeah, 93.
So you think it was your kids that made you change your lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it was my kids. When you had kids or whatever, you always had these premonitions of not being there for them, and not just in death, but just like not being like, can't even give them $10 or whatever. So I want to make sure that I was set up, for life, and I knew with that I was taking a 90% chance of me not being there for them, and I ain't want to do that. I ain't want to be talking to them on the phone or through letters, and they struggling with what I put on for the first date, or this girl, or my girls. I like this guy, or whatever. Now I'm gonna be right there, like, what you say your name is what?
Right, just like on Bad Boys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like Reggie, you look 31.
Right. Now I want to. So what are some of the rights? Because it's a lot of men out here who they might have a bitter baby mama. You know what I'm saying? And she won't allow them kids to be in their lives. What are some of the rights that men have to their children? What are some things that they can fight in order to see their children?
The first thing they need to do is go down and, if they on child support, make sure their child support is up to date or some type of something. If they in the court system. If they're not in the court system, either or, just file for joint custody. That means weeks, that means holidays or whatever. So that way she, by law, will be in trouble if she didn't bring the kids to you on whatever those holidays where you switch off, those summers, all the stuff that you discussed on. Even though I was on child support, I paid mine and I still mess with my kids. You know what I mean? I drove old clunkers and cars. I'm just now with my car now. That's like really my first car payment, and I'm 56 years old. You know what I mean? Like I had a buy here, pay here, but I'm talking about actually a car loan that I went to the bank for. And then just try to shore up that relationship. It's almost like the same thing you got her. You got to like smooth her over, because the kids is the ones who suffering. That's why I never got into.
Now, were you ever bitter that she put you on child support? Or did you voluntarily do that? I used to work for child support.
Yeah, I was kind of bitter because I was doing the best I could at the time, just coming out, and what little, fast money they might have been used to, that job money a little bit slower. And not that I never wasn't there, and I wasn't getting the kids, and I wasn't doing this, and I wasn't doing that. I just could never do it at a woman's time. Whatever woman's speed is, I don't know, because I'm not no woman. So I don't know. So
it just don't never match, do it.
Yeah, it might not have been where I just was like, I'm just worried about my kid or whatever, and not giving them, whatever they might have been needing or whatever, the closure and stuff like that. That's probably, why they went down there. But I told them, y'all gonna keep going down there. Y'all gonna get $20. It's too many. You better off just let me do it how I've been doing it. But most of them like just got it, and just so I wouldn't be in no trouble, and just gave it back. Or we just for the kids, we had a pact. By the time they go into 7th grade, they come and live with me. So all the boys, not so much the girls, but the boys, when they hit junior high, they done the next 4 or 5 years with me all the way to high school.
Oh, wow.
I knew that was
that's the age where they really probably
that was the crucial
the
time.
roughest.
Right. Be bucking up at their dad and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, they never do that because they used to go by the room. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing push-ups just in case one of y'all want all y'all want to be in the Kahoot stage of cool or whatever. I'm gonna let you know who the biggest dog's still in here. It ain't going like that.
we got a few comments on the side. Tina says, every time brother tells his testimony, I cry tears of joy. Erica said, that's my favorite guy. She said, did you have to fight or were the mothers of your children bitter? And she also said, did you have to wait? Or did you have to fight or were the mothers of your children willing to let you be a father?
Now, they was willing to let me be a father, but it was always a but. But don't have them here, don't have them around, stuff like that, because I had moved on, most of the times and just was worried about raising my kids. But, sometimes it ain't like that. So you don't know. So a lot of times I just was like, okay, I never said nothing. So I guess to them, it meant like, oh, he don't care. He don't really talk. He don't communicate. But I was just solely focused on making sure my kids was all right, considering the situations, that they was brought into this world, because I didn't get married until later on in life, to my sons and daughters' mom. Later on, I was almost 40. So.
Oh, okay. So you did end up marrying up. Well, I don't know how many mothers is there.
9.
You ended up marrying one.
It's 9.
And they all get along?
Yeah, pretty much. They don't, they earlier, like the first ones, they never had like no fist fights or whatever, but they wasn't too like talkative and stuff down. But now, because the kids, I made sure the kids was always around each other. They never had that animosity the same way my mom done us. It was just like, they just gonna keep being here. They gonna keep being here. They gonna keep being here. And I gotta call that mom and say, hey, come get them, or here go the address, stay over here or whatever. So after a while, when I had the parties and stuff, they be at the party, they show up. I might get a little look or whatever now, and a little trying to figure out a timeline and this and that. And I'm like, man, there's no timeline. Stop. It looked like it, but it's not.
Thank God that I didn't meet you, because honey, I couldn't have been doing all that.
She would have been one of the better baby.
That was no 9 of them, no.
Hey, Sleep, she'd have had me locked up. That's that light skinnedness. She'd have had me locked up.
You'd have been broke for real.
Yeah. Aunt B is the one who made me change, because she's the same color as my mama. And they always say you chase your mama's color. She's the one who made me say I need to go back to my side of the town. You know what I mean? Go back, yeah. But yeah, Tina always cried. When she said that, I told her in the car she cried or whatever. But it's like a true story. I had a video that sent out, but it's true, and I think that's what keep me like grounded, like thinking. And now that my kids are older, I just had 2 graduate like a week apart, senior girl and a boy, the last 2. It's like now I'm really, they call me community dad. You know how they say the community D word? It ain't the community D, it's community dad, because it's like everybody. They're like dad, aunt, pops, So I don't really turn nobody away, because my grandma was like that. My mom was like that or whatever. We don't care who's who and all. We don't care nothing about that. If we see the need, me and my brothers and the group that I hang around, me, Coach Parker, Carrot, like all Sean Walton, Marlon Shackelford, we all like that. We don't care nothing. Whatever the need is, we in. Now, if I counted all the kids, I'll probably be up to about 30. You know what I mean? With all the rest of them, because how you date sometimes, and those kids be there. You never lose touch of them,
right?
And stuff like that. So they always invited. They always considered.
Yeah.
When I go, it's gonna be long. Y'all gonna be like this. How many? Okay, all right. Ain't no 2 minutes. Ain't no 2 minutes. It's too many people.
What do you think is what do you think is like the main issue that's wrong with that the young people are dealing with now, especially our young men? That they're dealing with, and how can we help them?
I think looking at trends, counting other people's pockets, counting other people's circumstances, and not having a plan of action how they can get to those places or things, because they, this is the microwave society. I don't even use.
Right.
I don't have a microwave in my house. I use an oven, or the air fryer. So I got time to wait. They want everything instantaneously, so they're going to take those chances to get that money or get rich, those get rich quick schemes and stuff. But most of the time, it usually falls in some type of violence. Maybe you getting hurt or somebody else. Trying to be the man of the house, trying to grow up too early, trying not to be emotional or showing nothing. Because at a very early age, we was taught men, boys don't cry, suck it up and all that stuff. Even me, I've done that with my kids. It wasn't until later that you need to express yourself and get it out, because you hold all that in, you might end up exploding on your significant other, and all that kind of stuff, keeping that stuff bottled in. So they're fighting all of the stereotypes, all of the pressures, they fighting all of this, and it's not really nobody that they can depend on, that they trust to sit down and show them the way or show them a game plan. Like, hey, you need to buy these stocks, you need to, to do all that type of stuff. I know you in that lifestyle, but listen, man, you got 50, you need to go be doing this. You know what I mean? So they kind of think they got it figured out, but they don't.
So like the ones that's like in my age group, because now that you're older, like I was talking to a guy today at Kroger's, and he was saying that it's time for the people who's like 35 to maybe 45 to start speaking to the youth, the ones who they think is they big brothers and they uncles and stuff like that. Because the older folks, they not listening to them no more, because they didn't see how they was at their youth. So it's like, how do we get the ones that's my age to start speaking out?
Well, with everybody, you got to have a pecking order. So with me, and even Aunt B a little bit older than me, we have to be your board member or your consigliere, like they say in the mafioso, right? You got to have somebody to talk so you can speak that language, the same thing, but it's just coming out of a younger face and a younger mouth. Just like, all this rap music and stuff. I like it all. They be like, man, I'm like, look, I grew up in it. So how can I not like, that's like saying I ain't gonna like R&B because I remember Keith Sweat, you know what I mean? Now it's Tank or whoever it is. So you really just have to just find that niche and that light. Like me, I still float in between your group and that younger, and that's just because I've been coaching. So that, creates a bond and stuff like that. I know their music. I know what they're going through. I know what type of pressure, even being in the school system. But it's just to start talking. You ain't going to hit every target, but you're going to hit enough where they're going to start to say, man, you need to go be hollered at sleep. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to Aunt B. With them girls, they're going to tell you. And then if you get a younger person to introduce, like with me, with all my kids, and they all in that age group, you know what I mean? Like that 23 to 32, 33, like you. So they be like, that's my pops. That's kind of get me certified. So I would be like, man, come here, get in the door. So I got an introduction into y'all age group where they going to, halfway listen and respect. So anytime they see me, it's like, oh, there go Unc, there go Pops, there go OG. What's up, OG? Everything good, and stuff like that. So I just think like my generation, because remember, the generation right behind us, they mad at us because Aunt B and them took care of us no matter what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? Not saying Aunt B was on drugs, but that generation with the hair, all that stuff, right? All that stuff, they still made sure that we had those couple tools and stuff that we needed to pass down. But like I said, when that crack hit and that fast money came, they didn't care nothing about nobody. Or just getting that money, getting rich or whatever. So we had a gap. So now you had the ones that's above you, sleep. They still mad at us. So they ain't even help y'all. They ain't even had nothing to pass down to y'all because they didn't know nothing. They didn't have nothing to pass to y'all.
Angry. It just seems like we're living in such an angry world. Why is everybody
everybody's so angry.
Where's the happiness at?
Because when you like I tell you can stand out here and you could pop this and you could do all that stuff. But one thing you can't do is when you go home and you by yourself and you lay down and you get that needling and that stuff start affecting you and doing all that stuff. I never understood why you angry going to the club. Like, stay at home. You know what I mean? Like, people done worked hard or whatever they done. They coming out to drink and show their natural ass. And here you come, like, you know what I'm saying, mean mugging. And I all those years I've done security, when I taught those guys, I told them those are the faces you need to look at. Look at the ones that's not having fun in this type of atmosphere. You know, like when I was on Kings and Queens of Comedy, and one time in Detroit, the dude jumped up on some more. Well, I identified him because he's sitting here like that, like some more funny as hell. You not laughing, and you got a front row seat. I see him edging up or whatever. So it's like, I'm like the same thing. Like, why y'all so violent and why? You know, everybody carrying around switches, strap, all for what? Because nobody wants that. I think with social media too, sleeping on being, you get showed on that social media in the fisticuffs and you get beat up and get knocked down. Well, you can't do nothing but go back and you know what I'm saying, and shoot up and all that type of stuff. So they saving face now saying, it ain't gonna be me. So they already pulling.
What happened to take a loss? Back in the day, people just took a loss. I mean, it would get talked about, but it's like you still was alive. You didn't go back and try and kill them people all the time. Now, I'm not gonna say now. Some people did go back, but it just ain't as much as it is now. People can't take it at all. It's like a pride thing,
But you know what? Like now, when you see a fight or you see something happening, honey, instead of people running, you know, trying to assist or break it up with it, everybody pulls out their camera and encourages it to, you know, to go on.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
All in World Star and all that. But, you know, being in battles and fights and stuff like that, I never liked it, even though I defended myself. But, you know, my uncle always told us, let a warrior die a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Once he down or something, or once he quit, I ain't got to go kick that man in the face. I ain't got to body slam the life. You know what I'm saying? He already out. You know, because I know what's going. Now he really got to do something to me. And I didn't have no problem throwing hands, but after I got a little reputation for that, I'll be telling my kids that all the time. They start pulling them blickety blicks out on me. I'm retired. I retired fast like Sugar Ray. Like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't about to do it. So when you ask them, they can't even tell you why they're angry. But you can get to the root of it. The first thing I know us guys ask that generation, where your father at? Where your male mentor at? You know what I'm saying? And most of them can say, I don't know. I don't know him. He dead. He in jail, or he don't give a fuck. And the one that when they say, you don't give a F, those are the most disturbed and troubled ones right there. Those are the angriest. Those are the angriest. Because I know I could have been one of them. Had it not been for the older brothers and my mom, I could have been that angry because he don't give a fuck, so I don't give a fuck about nobody and all that. So, yeah.
Now, is prison glamorized?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know, because ain't nobody scared of getting locked up.
They ain't scared to die.
But they they act like they not, but being in that prison system, and me and Tony Ruby used to work down there, those guys are literally crying to get out. You know, we always say you got to think 10 seconds and then you got to think 10 more seconds because you're going to do something stupid and it could change your life, especially when you in some type of violent moment or whatever that you could get out of. But yeah, it changed them. Like they even look different. They even walk different. But with all like that Chicago drill rap and all that stuff they see around the country, and they're not putting in their head, like, because they ain't never been to the South Side. They don't know how big the South Side of Chicago is. And you talking about Dayton. So now you running around trying to emulate something that happens there. And I tell them all the time, let your parents sign that waiver and let me take you up to South Side. Because I was trained in gang training in Chicago and LA. Certified gang, work with them gangs, talk to them, try to, rationalize. The gangs I ran with, it was nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You talking about 8 or 9 years old, like strapped to and don't care. And if me and Sleep, if you was our grandma and me and Sleep lived on separate sides of the street, I gotta Sleep what time you going over to grandma's because we can't be there at the same time. Oh yeah, we got to do something to each other. That's cause we ganged up and all that stuff. Yeah, they done had a documentary that
and
we
family.
watched, and I met the brothers. Yeah, I met the brothers that was like that they couldn't even meet at the grandma's house at the same time.
Hey,
they literally it was 2 or 3 streets or whatever between them.
Wow,
real man. This is stuff you got to sit down and show to you. You got to show them. You know what I'm saying? They need to see this type of stuff.
Yeah, and then when people come home and glamorize it too, like all prison was this, and they might see the little cell phone. No, it's not. If you talk to some of them ones, they'll tell you. Like I had a family member that went probably 89 and probably got out maybe 3, 4 years ago. He ain't know nothing about no cell phone. You know what I'm saying? None of that type of stuff. Like everything was different. But he lost family members that, you know, they don't bring you, if you're in a certain place, they don't bring you to say goodbye. Probably 5 family members he lost while he was, you know, was gone. But they never come out and tell you that when we worked in that program and those guys that, you know, we want to talk to them. Like, if you ain't gonna tell the real story, don't be just up here trying to glamorize it or whatever. You need to tell them how many times you cried. You need to tell them, like Bishop Mark McGuire, over there, when he tell his story, he say, man, my mama died when I was incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, like telling a real story. Like you said, Sleep, if they see it and all that, not like that little scare straight, it worked to a point. I'm talking about really, really getting you out there and tell you, because most of them gang members will tell you, man, we got to do this, where we don't have nowhere to go. Or we ain't making a conscious choice to go nowhere. This is it for us.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you work at Richard Allen and you do the in-school suspension, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, with you doing that, how do the parents take to you? Do they help you, like try and help their kids, or do they try and fight against you? Because, you know, now they trying to say like a lot of things that the parenting's not the same. Not blaming all parents in no way, shape, but it's different.
Me, I'm pretty much used to dealing with, you know, the population, being a parent myself, and all the stuff from my coaching and negotiating with parents outside of bars and stuff that I worked in when they wasn't in they, you know, right. I think it kind of helped me. I'm probably the only ISS teacher that people want to come to the room for some reason. I don't know. But I try not to run it like it's an incarceration type of thing. So I got stuff in my room, like if you angry, you can punch, you can throw books. You're going to clean it up when you leave. But the best place to do it is in my room, because you don't really have no repercussions. If you do it in that classroom, you might be subject to get suspension or whatever. So you come down to my room, I don't even talk to you when you come in. You just sit there and you raise your hand when you're ready to talk. I'm not about to, you know, give you no whole sermon and do all this. So then once I talk to them, evaluate, I got a pretty good rapport with all the parents. Like I talk to them all the time, nonstop. Like they got my number. They call me like, hey, you know, such and such, or, you know, you got permission. I'm like, no, I'm not going to, I ain't going to whoop your key. You know what I mean? But, you know,
didn't Trump just sign an executive order?
Some of them be a little bit resistant till they kind of, you know, get to know me a little bit more or whatever, and to understand that I'm trying to help and it's about the kid or whatever, and there's no issues or whatever. And I'm trying to tell you, because I'm seeing them every day. You know, that 37 hours and 50 minutes they in every week. So they spending almost 40 hours with me, and I'm trying to tell you what they telling you at home or what you might be seeing ain't actually what's going on. And I don't care nothing about that. How we going to fix it? If I got to come make house visits, you know, I didn't order people down into mentoring sessions where the kids in the school wasn't going, the whole family going. Y'all going to talk about it and don't be brushing under.
That's probably what a lot of them need. They all need to go, because
Aunt V said, if somebody hit me, hit them back. Well, this ain't Aunt V school, so you can't be doing that. You're going to get 3 days, and Aunt V going to get 3 days not coming to events. Yeah,
I did tell my daughter that, honey. They kept jumping on my daughter, and they called me to the school.
If you got to defend yourself, that's one thing. But We we ain't got a no bullying, tolerance or whatever. None of that stuff. Not even verbal. It ain't got to be touchy. You just can't be just calling nobody a bald head, mashed potato head every day. You can't do stuff like that. And I'm just, some of the language, but the parents pretty much want to get on board. Some of them just be distraught because they overworked. It might just be them. They might be going through, not just, I done had dads that's been, in the room and what I was supposed to do. Hey, man. First off, send us some flowers. First off, you got to do something to smooth this situation, because now your kid coming in and, he's slamming the chairs and, he's stuff like that. But once I pretty much get them settled or whatever, and I'm gonna snack them to death now. And I got plenty of I got a vault full of snacks now. A snack is always open you up. You get you some Doritos, a little Kool-Aid jam or whatever, and then we'll talk. So
that's a safe place for the kids, for sure.
Yeah, yep. And I kind of call it the care room, even though we switched it. We call it the care room, where you come in here and you get any thing you need. You talk about it or whatever. And most of the stuff I'll tell them, depending on what you tell me. I don't know if I can not tell your mom. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a situation, especially with the girls, and the guys, about to reach down. And I just tell them, you're gonna be an adult for almost 70 years. You only a kid for 14 or 15 years. So why are y'all rushing everything? Like, chill out.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the mall and sit down at the pizza place. Quit trying to sneak in the club.
Right. Now it is.
Now. I'm sorry.
We keep doing that. Go ahead, Javi.
Yeah.
Now I want to know. I'm asking great grandma that got her little 4-year-old great granddaughter a lot this summer. What is there out there for kids to do? So, if they're out of school, they're not just sitting in front of the TV playing games or whatever, but they're, doing something. Getting out of my hair for a little while.
So right now, I go from the school district to Richard Allen, and I run with a guy that I coach, Anthony Parker, coach him at Jefferson, and I coach basketball with him at West Carrollton and football last year. Started a camp, and basically I had done a camp with Shondell where we was getting kids from all over the housing projects in the city, getting them one location. We done that for like 10 years and then stopped. And then he had the vision to do something from just talking to a kid about, what you're going to be when you grow up. And he really only had basketball and a dope dealer. And we was like, we got to do something, and want to start it young. So it's Extraordinary Men Mentoring Group, and we go the whole 9 weeks that the summer is out. No electronics, all outside, everything. But it starts from 5 to 12 years old. And this year I got the littles, the 5 to 7, and then when I say they wearing me out, it's week 1. They've been whooping me. Usually I'll be up, the staff be up, but it's about 3-2. The campers 3, staff 2, but
yeah. It's all dark in there. You was trying to relax.
Yeah. So but it's a whole lot of programs. They got a whole lot of free stuff. You know what I'm saying, that we do. We take them to the farm. We take them to the splash pads. They got free bowling, free skating, Wager Center, whatever. Anything out of the house, even if you walking down, like I had the kids just at the little creek thing, and they was throwing rocks, and you would have thought that was the most amazing thing ever to him, just to hear that plop sound or whatever. Ain't had nothing to do with Chuck E. Cheese, no game, no nothing, just good old outdoor, whatever. Like I tell them parents, don't send your kid G'd up. They gonna come home filthy. Don't send them in no Dunk to no Jordan. You better go buy them off the rack shoes at Walmart, because they gonna get dirty. They get muddy, and it was raining. They outside. We throwing mud, water gun fights, and everything. Just kind of being out and seeing some stuff. The Air Force Museum. You get 2 or 3 times that, because there's so much stuff in there to see. You just want to get a different perspective. I used to ride our kids when I coached basketball, youth basketball. I used to ride those kids out to see those bigger houses because most of them like ain't never really seen nothing like that. They seen it on TV, but like he just got a job. He just got education. He don't throw the football. He don't shoot the ball. You know what I mean? Like this can be because some of them, if their parents ain't tell them, or if nobody in the family been college are educated or whatever, they don't know. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about, you know, like having that CDL like sleep, how much money she really could get if she said, "Oh, I'm about to hit the road." You know what I mean? All that grass, you know, $75 to $100 of grass. You got 100 yards. Like, you know, they don't look at that type of stuff because they don't feel like it's glamorous. But all those jobs out there is you know, putting kids in college and feeding families and stuff. But definitely getting them out. I got the whole list of whatever, like the $2 movie on Tuesday, all of that stuff. You use your senior discount, you get you some popcorn. Like it's a lot. I
gotta come. I gotta get your list.
Yeah, we need that list.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, if will you be able to like put it in the comments so other parents can see it so they
yeah. Once I get it, I'll put it into the comments.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah. Now, would it be in Men's Mental, you know, Health Awareness Month? What is some advice that you would give to the men?
Take a break. Like literally take a break. Me, because I stay busy. I'm so used to like boom, 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 boom. I really don't have to be like that no more. But it's become so second nature that it's hard for me like to say no. Like if Sleep said, "Bird, I need you to drive me down here," you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, "Bet," you know what I mean? Because I felt like I have so much idle time that I will get into. Not now, but I'm saying back then.
You might have another baby, honey.
Yeah. So part of my mental health thing when I, you know, like came through my divorce and was going through that was to kind of stay busy, so I ain't have to really think about it. Now I just take breaks. Like I won't get on the phone. I go to bed at 9. You know, I ain't coming out today. I ain't trying to make all of this. I ain't trying to make all of that. Most people don't know, like I do poetry and all that. So I write a lot. I do a whole lot of reading and just being by myself, just to get that time. So
I didn't know you did poetry.
Yeah. I got a couple bangers out there. You got a couple bangers out,
Can we hear some? Give us something.
I ain't got nothing right now. No, Sleep. When I get it, I'm gonna let you get it. And we're gonna first hear it on there. I'm working on my album with my people. Me and my people, we working on albums and stuff. So we got about 2 songs in the vault. So we got about 5 more we working on. So I've just been so busy. I was just telling them, the people that's working on the project, like I got to get this going. You know what I'm saying, by the end of the month or whatever, because I do. Like I don't mind, you know, with nobody else, but I also got to focus on, you know, my stuff too.
Yeah, because you're an actor, a producer, you do stage plays, you do poetry, you're a mentor, you're a coach, you're a dad, I was
coach basketball, got a security company, run an after school program. Like I'm really busy, but I'm just getting to the point. Like my boys and stuff getting into coaching and all that to pass that torch. Like some people been they pass us a torch that wasn't lit. I got to pass the torch that's still lighted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what we working on. So when I feel like God telling me go on to sit down, it's time to retire. Otherwise, I'll be on the bench. Old coach out there, you know what I mean?
Don't be out there when your head starts shaking by itself. Don't be out there.
No. Hopefully my person be up there and then made me something real nice where it don't, you know, bother shake so much or whatever. Yeah.
Like, you know what?
One of them reinforced turtlenecks or whatever, so it don't, you know, bother so much.
Like, why coach keep saying no, man?
Right. Me and my best friend Sean Walton, we shot a movie together that I wrote called Perfected Love, based on a poem about my first girlfriend. We shot it right before COVID hit, and we really couldn't put no legs on the project because COVID like shut everything down. but we were never intending to do nothing but get on the Greyhound bus to go to Hollywood because we was going to be the new Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. Like that's all. Like we battled in all through grade school, junior high, high school about who was getting the lead, but he always beat me out because he could sing and I couldn't sing and he could sing. So he got to be the Tin Man and I didn't, and I ain't liked him ever since. So when I done my movie, I made sure he only got 2 lines in my movie. That's a little get back.
This one about me.
Yeah. But
did you say you put it out or it's not put out?
Yeah, I got it on DVD. We showed it. I think we had like close to 400 and some people on the premiere night, and then we showed it again down at the Neon. So I was like, after Jason, I think I was like the 3rd person that like from Dayton or whatever that actually shot, a full-length movie and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was good. So I know me and Sleep got a project coming out that we shot last year. I shot a couple episodes. I mean, one episode with Fentanyl that's getting ready to come out. I shot with Daryl Easley, 2 Wrongs Don't Make a Right. I shot with Tequila Day on her Secret Within the Pews. So last year I've done a whole lot of like movies. So now they're getting ready, to come out as well as some stage plays or whatever. But if I could do it probably full time, that's probably or a little bit more. I ain't gonna say full time, but because I would have to leave Dayton, but I would do, a little bit more. That's why every time somebody says something, I'll be like, yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah, you ain't where. Now,
my dream was always to be on Broadway.
Yeah.
That was my dream. Was always to be on Broadway.
You do First Fridays too, right?
Yeah, we do First Fridays. We kind of put a stop to it because traditional First Friday was always move around and have somebody anticipate going to the next spot. So we was kind of in one spot for a while, but people, they like it and support, but people like that, okay, they're gonna be here next month, or other venues and stuff that they hadn't seen, not so much at clubs and bars because they can go there anytime. They want to do something different and really put on. So we kind of revamping how we gonna do it and probably come out like September and do it.
Yeah, I missed that First Friday.
Oh yeah, we had it jumping now.
And
we was at bleachers and all that. We had it jumping out there. Like we had the steppers and everybody out there. But sometimes the price of fame, people start seeing this and they start thinking you got this, and then wires get crossed and all that. I'm just like, hey, I got a school job now. This is not my full-time job. So
right.
I ain't about to bicker and fight and be angry with nobody.
I know that's right. Well, man, this has been a great interview. I feel like we just covered everything. We know you was little. Okay?
Right.
You was Little Bird.
You didn't listen, you didn't ask me how many grandkids I got 19 grandkids. You didn't ask me that, so I answer myself. Yeah, I got 19.
That's why you got 19 jobs, because you got 17 kids, 19. How many great grandkids? None. None.
Yeah. I could be having the potential. Look at that 4-year-old in there. Yeah, I see you in there.
That's the great grandbaby, and she wears me out. Ain't no way in the hell I can have 19 of them running around.
That's the one you bought to practice, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna hurry up and send you that list.
Yes, hurry up.
And I'm gonna send you some Kiara wine.
So you can unwind.
Hey, and some of Kenneth Red's special, and some of the Wellness Ladies products.
I need all of them.
Shout out to her too. She on here. She said, "Hey, BF." She said, "What's up to her, BF?"
What's up? That's my homie, though. Me and Shondell, you got to get us both on, man. We used to play ball.
We about to do one on foster care. I got a few people. I tried to get some males, but it was all women who reached out. So we do a panel episode of them, find out about their life and spread awareness, to help the cause. We went and seen her. We went and seen her.
Yes. Movie. Oh my God. That documentary was excellent.
Me and Shondell met. She used to play ball, and she was going through that stuff at the time, but I never knew. You know what I'm saying? She used to play ball with the guys, and she's, you know what I'm saying, like DJ. But I never known until later on when she started the mustard seed and she started really telling me all that kind of stuff. But I know sometimes with the males, at least the people I knew, males usually could find a placement somewhere with a family member. Like the girls, especially with their mamas, they was more like, you know what I'm saying, they would get taken out of place first. Just the ones that I knew. So I don't know that many males that's been in foster care or, displaced from their family or that either. Besides Shondell's brother. And then just when I found out about Ryan the workout, I didn't know he was. So that's two guys that I know. But other than that,
but it might be one of those things that they just don't talk about.
Mm-hmm. So that might be your next investigation reporting, you know what I'm saying, finding some guys or whatever.
I know one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he can tell his story. But before we get out of here, July 26th, make sure y'all get y'all tickets because we coming live to the stage, baby.
I ain't got no ticket. I'm gonna act like I'm coming into my security shirt like Mr. McAfee with my light on. I ain't got no ticket. So you know what I mean? Once I get in there, I'm gonna put my flashlight and my stick down and I'm gonna just sit down and enjoy the show. Because I ain't buy no ticket. But I'm gonna be there though.
At the door, we don't even have security, so he gonna know.
Everybody know me. Hey, Sleep. As many clubs I worked in and let people jump and all that, I'm still collecting favors, and that was 25 years ago with Spunkies. I'm still collecting.
Not as funky. He said it's funky.
Don't let me see you at Walmart. I'll be like, you remember when that Christmas I let you jump that line? Don't scan all them items.
But yeah, man, so you got to be there. I will see you cool cats on Sunday for Tina. Shout out to Tina's Truth. Make sure y'all watch her skits. We just did a bang and play. All of us was in it. So make sure y'all go and watch that. That's why Aunt V kept calling him Mr. Felix, because we were in the I think that was like season 2 of her skits.
Yeah. They need to bring me back, like we talked about. They need to bring me back. We're gonna have to do something, you know. Hey, Aunt V, you know how they who was that? Miss Chancellor, but I'll be Mr. Chancellor. You know how the world turns. We're gonna have to figure out on this. Show me on a boat or something somewhere. Be like I'm on my way back or something.
Right.
No, but I appreciate it, Sleep. You know, anytime. You know, I love the podcast. I love being around. You know, we all like family. We all support each other. Don't never get it twisted. There ain't no animosity between none of us in the crew. And if we gonna be there, we gonna show up and show out. You're gonna be looking silly because you ain't a part of it. Don't be mad at us when we in Holly, Atlanta, because it ain't Hollywood no more. It's Atlanta. Don't be mad at us when we in Holly, Atlanta with our own show.
That's what we need. We all need to take a vacay. I need to see y'all on.
Who gonna bail? If we all go, who gonna bail us out? Because somebody.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, we need to though. We need to. But I'm on the real side though. Sleep on be anybody that I talk to young men or whatever. I work with them. I as long as the parents don't. I text them. Motivation. I got like 30, however many you can have. So I got like 3 or 4 different groups where I text the guys motivational, messages or whatever in the morning, to answer back, like doing a check-in. Because for us, nobody really asks us that. So, if you know some guys and even the girls, I don't necessarily work with them, but I got friends like now Aunt B, you know what I'm saying? We all, Tina, you know what I'm saying? Kenya, all of us that's in there, we all do something besides what our God-given talents are. So, we might need to have us a Tina Truth mental health day. Like we fed the adult shelter up there and just have one mentor day for the kids and just sit down and talk to them and tell them what our other stuff, Sleep, come on out that album. I need to get a bar on there and I need to get on the road and get some security money. Yeah, come on back out with that album. I saw you farming it. Come on.
The podcast, I'm telling you.
Right.
Live show, we going on tour. And you gonna be security.
What they say, if you put it on your heart, you got to do something about it, right?
Right. That's right. That's right.
Y'all be saying this 70s jive and confusing me. If you put it on the stick, better make it big. I don't know none of that stuff y'all be saying.
Hey, that's hood scripture. That's when you have paid attention and you was eating candy most of the time doing Bible when you was at church and listening. So you only that's a little bit. That's a loose definition of it.
Well, I'm gonna let let y'all good people go. We're gonna get out here, enjoy the rest of the day. About to watch that Tyler Perry film that just came out. What's it called? Straw. Need to see what that's about.
And honey, the baby done came in here and started making noise and hear the damn dog.
Yeah. Hey, that dog need a haircut. That dog look like it looked like it had a wild Thursday night or something. Look at what's that
it's
going
little
on.
Pepper.
Pepper.
Man. That's little pepperoni. We out of here, y'all.
Okay, all right, peace. H.O.O.D. podcast. Thank you.